It's the one thing you think will never happen to you. An arrest. It can happen to anyone, anywhere, anytime. And in those first few moments, when your world is spinning, clear thinking is the first thing to go. But what you do, and maybe more importantly, what you don't do in those first 48 hours, can literally define the rest of your life. You know that feeling? Your heart just plummets, your mind races. That one single phone call throws you right into the middle of a crisis. And while you're just trying to get your bearings, a massive machine has already been switched on. A system that is designed from the ground up to build a case against you. And guess what? It's already working at full speed. So many people just freeze. They hope it's all just a big misunderstanding that can be cleared up. But it's not. From the second of the arrest, investigators are already collecting evidence, they're taking statements, they're cementing their story. You are already playing defense, and the game is absolutely rigged against you. The second you hear those handcuffs click shut, a clock starts ticking. And every single minute that goes by without a lawyer by your side puts you in a deeper and deeper hole. Your first instinct, your gut reaction, might be to explain yourself, to cooperate, but that is almost always the worst possible move you can make. Look, people think talking will help, right? They want to clear their name, give their side of the story, but you have to understand law enforcement is trained to build a case. They are not there to be your friend or give you advice. Anything you say can and will be used against you. That's not just a line from a movie, it is an absolute promise. And every word you volunteer hands the prosecution an advantage you can never, ever get back. So if talking is the wrong move, what's the right one? Well, it's not just about zipping your lips. It's about actively, consciously deploying your constitutional rights. Think of it like putting up a legal force field that just stops the entire investigation dead in its tracks. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky, and honestly, a little bizarre. There's this legal trap, a catch-22, called the Salinas paradox. If an officer asks you something and you just stay quiet, a prosecutor can later stand in front of a jury and say, "See, their silence proves they had something to hide." It's a crazy twist. You literally have to speak up to invoke your right to be silent. So what are these magic words you need to use? It's a very specific script, and it's what activates that legal force field. The Fifth Amendment is your right to stay silent. The Sixth is your right to a lawyer. You have to state clearly and calmly that you are invoking these rights. No chit-chat, no explanations. This script shuts down the interrogation, period. Okay, so you've put up your force field. The interrogation might stop, but the process, it's just getting started. Now you're at the station, and there's a whole new set of traps to avoid, starting with that one phone call you get. You get one call. And listen, this isn't for emotional support. This is a tactical transfer of information. Jail calls are recorded. Every single word you say is being listened to. So you don't explain, you don't try to justify anything. You give instructions. Your family needs two pieces of information: where you are and that they need to hire a lawyer. That is it. All right, let's talk about a little-known but incredibly powerful tool. If you've been arrested by federal agents, there is a secret ticking clock that they have to beat. They've got just 6 hours to get you in front of a judge. It's called the McNabb-Mallory rule, and it's basically a constitutional kill switch for confessions. And this quote just says it all. You want to know why? Agents will often make arrests on a Friday so they can wait until Monday to see a judge, avoid paying overtime. Well, if they question you during that delay, even if you signed a waiver and confessed to everything, that whole confession can get thrown right out of court just because they waited too long. Now, the booking process, it feels like just a bunch of paperwork, right? Routine stuff. It's not. It's a pure intelligence gathering operation. They'll take your DNA, and that gets run against a massive national database with millions of profiles from unsolved crimes. They'll ask you routine health questions, and if you mention anxiety meds, well, that could be used to paint you as unstable. Even where they decide to house you can affect how easily you can see your lawyer. Every piece of info they get is another potential weapon for the prosecution. Okay, so after booking, you're heading for your first big hurdle, the arraignment. This is your first time in front of a judge. This is where they'll read the official charges, and more importantly, this is where they'll make a decision about your freedom, bail. And let me be really clear about this. This is not your trial. It is not the time to argue about whether you're innocent or not. The only point of this hearing is for the judge to tell you what you're being charged with and to decide if you get to go home. Right now, the only thing that matters is that decision on your freedom. And if you happen to be in the federal system, this is where reality can hit like a ton of bricks. In a state court, you can usually pay a bondsman 10% and walk out. But in federal court, there are no bondsmen.
You need what are called suretyers, friends or family wealthy enough to pledge their own homes as collateral. And the result? Just look at the numbers. Nearly 75% of federal defendants are stuck in jail before their trial, compared to about 30% in state courts. Your freedom, literally, depends on how rich your friends and family are.
So while you're trying to deal with all of this from the inside, there's another major player on the outside, the person who gets that awful phone call. What they do in the next 48 hours is just as critical. They can either be your lifeline or they can accidentally sink your entire case. This is their mission, and it's pretty straightforward. Number 1, stay calm. Panic helps no one. 2, stay off social media. Prosecutors look at that stuff, and anything posted can become evidence. 3, remember the phone call is a mission briefing, not a time to talk things out. Their one and only job is to find a good lawyer and find them fast. And if the police call them, the answer is always, I have nothing to say, talk to our attorney. And this quote from a veteran defense attorney really just says it all. In most criminal cases, the most powerful and damning evidence comes straight from the defendant's own mouth in those first few hours. Staying silent and then getting a lawyer immediately isn't just a good strategy, it's the only one that actually works.
From the moment of arrest, the prosecution is following a script, a playbook that's designed to get a conviction. They know their moves. The question is, after everything we've just gone over, do you know yours?